welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. If it's your first time watching, I am Angela.
And I am Jimmy.
And we've got Dan behind the camera.
Yep, I am here too. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. Slightly different crowd than normal, right?
Yeah.
We don't have Nick and Whitney here this time.
Yeah, well, that kind of goes into our first point, actually. Where are Nick and Whitney? So
Where in the world are Nick and Whitney?
mystery.
Is that going to be a new thing?
It should be. Dun, dun, dun. But for anyone who doesn't know, there is a conference in San Diego, California called Social Media Marketing World, which is running today through Friday. And it's presented by Social Media Examiner, and Nick and Whitney are both out there right now. I believe they actually sent us a quick little video clip to play for you guys.
They did, yeah. So here's a quick little video of Nick kind of explaining what Social Media Marketing World is and some of the things they're looking forward to.
Hey, this is Nick here at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego. This conference is all about YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, all things to do with social media and how to market online. A lot of sessions, workshops, keynote speakers about Facebook ad strategy. And some of the big buzzwords we're hearing this year are chatbots, live video, and building community. This is also the first year that they will be doing a live broadcast from the convention center. Joel Comm will be hosting that and doing interviews with other people at the event. Be sure to tune in next week and we'll do a full recap on the things that we've learned and share those with you. Take care.
So that was great to be able to hear from Nick and Whitney. If you guys haven't really heard of Social Media Marketing World or need a little more information on it, they're expected to have 5,000 or more marketers, creators, and speakers at this event this weekend. A little bit of what it is, it's for social media marketers, bloggers, influencers on social media, podcasters, and video creators. It's also open to people who are just interested in going into any of those fields. So even if you haven't started video creation or marketing or being an influencer, but it is a prime interest, this is a great conference for you. They've got a ton of speakers over the course of the 3 days. Some of the big ones are Joel Comm, who was actually a guest on our Stream Squad episode a few weeks ago, as well as Mari Smith, who's a big influencer for Facebook.
Yeah, we talked about her a few times.
Yeah, Mari's awesome. They've got Jay Baer, they've got Michael Stelzner, they've got Luria Petrucci. A lot of these people have been involved in Switcher Studio, blogs or videos before, so it's great to see them all there. If you guys are interested in this conference but can't make it out to San Diego today, tomorrow, or Friday, there are two other options. Their main event speakers are going to be featured on their main Facebook page, so you'll be able to watch those talks. For everything else, though, they are offering a virtual ticket, and we'll be able to put a link to that in the comments for you guys. But with this ticket, you're able to log in at any time and watch all of the talks from this week's Social Media Marketing World.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead right now and put in this this post here if you guys want to get a ticket to it. I'm sure they're going to have awesome information in there to help people make better live video.
Yeah, and also, if you don't feel like buying the ticket, maybe if you just have some questions you want to ask Nick and Whitney directly, go ahead and put a comment in the video now, and we'll try to get the word out to them. They're probably they might be watching this video right now. Who knows? But if you want to know more about what's happening at this conference, just leave a question in the comments. I was researching what this conference is all about, and it was really neat. One of the people they were interviewing there, who's probably some media guru or whatever, but what he said was everybody is a media company now, and it's kind of interesting. Any business kind of needs to have some sort of media presence, nowadays, and it's trying to put together what are you going to put out there on Facebook and whatnot. You really kind of have to start thinking like a media company, and even if you're, if you own a bakery or if you have a company that we're going to feature later on today, like Sunbasket, you've got to think of ways to create media and put it out there. So I think that's that's kind of the mindset that a lot of people that they're in at this conference, is just thinking you have to be a media company. Everybody does now.
Yeah, I know a lot of companies have been, creating positions just for that, just social media marketers or even just someone to run the social media, especially for smaller companies. So, it's definitely great to see conferences like this for people that are just getting started with social media or using it as a marketing tool, so that way they're not having to see what works. That way they're able to get in touch with all these other influencers and see what does work.
I guess we've kind of just gone full circle there when you're saying we've seen companies out there creating positions for this, and one of our interesting news pieces last week, of course, was talking about Amazon. And that posting where they are like, what's this new live video personality or spot that's opening up for their job. So yeah, the social media marketing world is, I think, a great event, and even if you can't buy the ticket and watch it there, you'll want to check out our Stream Squad next week, as Nick and Whitney will be in to talk about everything, a full rundown of all that stuff, and you can always just watch the live interviews.
Hopefully they can bring back some strategy points and see what other people are doing out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, the other industry news piece we have for you guys today is YouTube announced on Monday that they're doing a new release to their live streaming protocol. Now, this is something that's going to be rolled out over the next few weeks, so some of you guys might already have this access. For the rest of you guys, it is coming soon. But what they've done is they've announced several new features, and they're all hoping to improve live video for both viewers and content creators. And a lot of the features they've done are, something that no other platform has done so far. So YouTube's trying to, make sure they stay on top with live video. But one great thing that they're bringing is, the live chat feature for when you're watching a broadcast that's already ended. If you guys have noticed, if you watch a broadcast live on YouTube, you're able to see all the comments that are going through. But when you go back and watch that broadcast later, those comments are gone. It's only comments that have been left after the stream had ended. There's going to be a toggle now for both the actual broadcaster and anyone watching the video, where they can actually turn on the live chat comments and see what people were posting during the live video.
It's like a smart move, because whenever you're watching those live videos after the fact, like, none of the comments are in context. It's like, I don't know where this conversation derailed. Like, how did we get? I don't even. So just to put it all back in order, it helps like convey the message a lot easier. It's just like a simple thing that, like, why didn't they do that from the start? I don't know.
Great to finally have, though.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I feel like I've been watching a recorded video before, and you kind of forget that it's live, or that it was live at one point, and then you try and make a comment, and you're like, this person has no idea what's going on anymore because they've already finished it. So the live commenting thing, like where it goes, I know YouTube, or Facebook, I'm sorry, has something like that now, where you can choose if you want to see the real-time comments as it's going in with the video, or you can choose to set it so you just see like the most popular or the most recent. So good stuff by YouTube.
Yeah, no, another thing they're doing with this update is automated captions for their live videos. So of course, there's been third-party programs that can do this. Their recorded video has had an automation caption feature since, I want to say, around 2010, 2009 even. But there hasn't been a good one in place by YouTube for their live videos. So they're implementing, the live caption feature. That way anyone watching who, it might not be their main language, or someone who's hard of hearing, that way they're able to still see what's going on and keep up with it while it's live, instead of having to wait for that recorded feature. And YouTube's mentioned, it's not 100% accurate, but it's at the top level of accuracy that other studios have been able to produce.
I mean, it's a good tool for the hearing impaired, but I just think, like, there's so many times when, like, I'm watching a movie. Now, this is YouTube, but, like, if I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed and, like, maybe I don't, like, want the sound to be on, like, I'm still going to consume that video, even if I can't hear it, if I can read what's going on. So I think it's, like, a really great, it's an accessibility tool, but you just have to remember that you're still getting viewers and you're still getting people to interact with your content that way. So it's, like, it's a really smart thing to add and to have there. So. And I think they did say it's like only English now. Like, I read the really long document. There's like a list of countries it's available for. But I think right now the built-in is only in English. Somebody fact check me on that. And let me
Yeah,
know,
I
but-
remember seeing that as well. It's starting with English, and then they're hoping to roll it out to other languages throughout the rest of the year.
Pretty cool.
I know there was one piece Jimmy wanted to mention on that. I think you read on the tech.
Oh, like
Crunch
the rest of the things that they're adding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my favorite one is it's the if this then that. I don't know if like if this then that came up with it or if YouTube told them to do this, but like it's the if this then that integration where you can now tie your super chats to what they were saying was like real life action. So the one that I found, I don't know if you can like pull that Slack article I found. One of them said you can take your super chat and you can send it to a hue bulb and it'll glow the color of your like latest super chat.
Right.
So like that's cool. But the article I read was like you can tie it to real world events like a confetti cannon. And I just like imagine we need to get a confetti cannon like on like over here on Stream Squad. So it's like all right, if you want to shoot the confetti cannon, just give us a super chat, and then it goes off. I think that's just the craziest thing that they suggested you do with a super chat.
Of all things you could do, a confetti cannon.
Yeah, if this and that integration, just get a confetti cannon in there, right? So I just thought that was nuts.
So if anyone has a confetti cannon,
yes, please bring it.
Go ahead and send it to us, and we'll set this up and
we'll do it.
Shoot confetti at
Yeah.
Jimmy
Totally.
and Angela.
Now accepting donations.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else with YouTube?
There is one more thing. So YouTube's also going to add location tagging for their live streams and uploads. So what this is going to do is allow people to tap on your location, and this is something you can toggle on and off if you don't want someone to know your location. For instance, if you're at home or something. But
Yeah, that'd be
that
good.
way, if you're at an event or something, anyone can tap, see what other videos are from this location, and that way they can see from other events or other circumstances what other YouTubers have been putting out. So it's a great way to, increase that exposure not only for yourself, but for other people in your area or at that event, and also just to explore and make, be able to find new creators from that location.
And also for Google to collect more data about
More data.
more data about where things are happening and what you're doing specifically. But I mean, that's for the best in the end, I guess. Arguably, just to get your video shared to the right people and get it to people who would be interested in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I see some good comments coming through. Just people saying, "Hey." I see that Ramsey says hello from Mexico. Andy's in here. Dominique just stopped by to say hey. I see Mark in there. Mark actually said he just ordered the confetti cannon for us,
Thank
so
you,
it's on the way.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Send it along.
I see Hot Rock in there, and Rob also. So thank you all for tuning in and checking this out. Yeah, so shall we move on to some live video strategy? I know we've got we just had a blog post go up on our website. We kind of want to talk about that and just one of the cool ways to do live video.
Yeah, so, as Dan just mentioned, if you guys have already seen the article on our blog, we did put up a feature story about Sunbasket, and they're a company that's a food delivery service. They provide a few recipes with the food that's delivered each week, and it's basically a way to get a nice, healthy set of meals without actually having to go to the store, and it's also a great way to learn how to create new dishes at the same time. So this ties in with our strategy piece for this week because we want to talk about, the importance of streaming live demonstrations. So, Sunbasket, when they first started, they were just using, one iPhone and using the Facebook app. And while it worked, they weren't able to get different angles. They weren't able to get the interaction they wanted. And then they wound up using Switcher Studio to get multiple angles. And some things that they've reported that, they really like doing the live broadcast for, which we've seen across the board with other people doing live demonstrations, is first of all, it adds engagement. If you're just writing the recipe, sticking it in a box, you have no way of really engaging with your customers unless they come and leave a comment on Twitter or something like that. This way, as you're doing the live demonstration, they're able to engage, let you know it looks good. If someone's interested in the product but hasn't ordered it yet, they're able to kind of take a look and see what's there to offer and maybe push them over to getting that product. Another thing that has really helped out Sunbasket is allows their viewers to see that they're real people, they're actual people and not just someone writing up a recipe, but also that their instructions are doable and in the time that it says. So it helps people to see that yes, anyone can create these recipes using the ingredients in the box and that it's their promise of 30 minutes or less on top of it. One other thing that they've really liked is that they're able to do live questions and answer support related questions that way. So instead of someone writing in after the fact and saying this wasn't clear or I'm not sure how to do this, people are able to watch and actually see what's going on or ask a question on the spot for that demo.
I think that's probably the best thing about any live video is just that you can engage with, especially for something that's a demonstration. It's meant for somebody else to be doing it. It's like, I'd look up tutorial videos on YouTube all the time, like pre-made videos, because I'm like trying to figure out how to do something in my video editing software, or like I'm trying to remember how to do some special filter in Photoshop. And I hate like when I'm watching those videos and I'm like, oh, I have to scroll to figure out like where this is. But when you're kind of having the demonstration, you're just kind of walking through it, and it's just like a simpler kind of like experience for people instead of that frustration. And if you have questions about like, hey, what was that spice you added? You know, like people can easily say that and get in there and be like, can you say again what you just said? And they will if they're paying attention to the comments. And like that's kind of a really good thing, especially for like demonstration when you're trying to get people to use your product. Like why not like bring them in on like what you're doing? So I think it's really cool.
I remember the first time I heard or saw Sunbasket video switcher, I was just like, this is awesome. This is exactly the right kind of thing, because I might look up a recipe or something on YouTube and people always say it's like cook it for about this long or until it looks like this. And it's like you never know exactly what that's going to be. So if you're doing it live along with them, it's like you've got the temperature at exactly the same. You can ask them these questions. You can be like, all right, well, they're done with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over. So.
You ever been sitting there and you're just like rewinding the tasty video to get the numbers again? Because you're like, oh, I got to keep going. And you just set up your phone and go in your kitchen and you can make it right along
there
with them. I mean, like you're gonna be in there anyway. You might as well just like do it with somebody else who's doing the same things.
Yeah, and I knew from the psychology courses I took in college, around what the figure was, but I did some research this morning and looked up a few surveys, and it's pretty consistent that psychologists have found that approximately 65% of people are visual learners. I'm one of them for sure. So, it's nice to have that other avenue. I know some people do prefer the written instruction. They don't want all of the extra stuff going on, and there is that baseline still for them, not just with Sunbasket, but with pretty much anything out there, just basic instructions. But for all of the visual learners out there, or someone who, as Jimmy says, just wants to cook along with the people who are actually in charge, it's nice to have this other avenue there so that you're able to reach out to more people, keep people from getting frustrated, and actually show them what to do.
Yeah, so if you haven't had lunch yet, go check out Sunbasket, all right, and go see some of their videos. They've got like some other like funny commercials in their videos too. I've kind of looked at it, but yeah, go check them out. I don't know if Dan can put a link or.
Yeah,
they're pretty easy to find. Sunbasket. I'm just search them on Facebook, and they've got a whole section of videos, and you can tell which ones are the longer ones, and those are made with Switcher.
Yeah, I linked the blog post, and there's a more in-depth that you can check out on there too. That's going to have links to everything and show some videos in action. So it's a really well-written piece. I like it. I love what Sunbasket is doing, and it's just a super fun, cool use for Switcher.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of their live videos, I'm not sure the days, like the actual dates that they'll be live, but I remember seeing that they do go live at least twice a month, and their live videos are Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, so that's in about 5 hours. So there might be one this week. If not, it'll probably be next week, but check out their Facebook. It'll let you guys know when they're live, and they do have all of their archived videos on there as well to check out what they've done in the past.
Awesome. I think that's going to do it for live video strategy, and we've got a really good user group question coming up in a second. But before we do that, I'll just give a couple more shout outs here. I see Carlos is here. Andy had a question. Saul, Tim, the video guy, all checking things
Hello.
out. But yeah, Jimmy, I'm going to put you on the spot here and
Pop quiz.
and ask you this question here because
I'm ready.
I've kind of got an answer for it as well, but I just kind of want to hear what you said. So Andy asked, do you have recommendations when certain transitions should be used? Or is it just personal taste? I tend to like the fade transition, but I notice you guys like the quick transition with no effects.
Yeah.
You don't use the twist or box or anything. Is there an industry recommendation? So we're going to get two user group questions here. We're going to get this one from the comments, then we'll get into our other one.
Well, if you want to look like Star Wars, we have a wipe, right? Was there a wipe transition?
Yeah, there's a wipe. Here,
You
I'll
wanna look
go
like
ahead and do it right
If you
now.
want to look like Star Wars, you do the wipe transition, and maybe like take it away. I think it's like a 2 second, or it's like 1.5. So you got to tweak it a little bit, but it's not radial. It's only like a linear wipe. But yeah,
You can change the
you
way
can do
it goes.
the angle, but you can't make it like
So
the
here's
radial
a
wipe.
2 second fade for you coming on.
All right, there it is. So there's the Star Wars industry standard is that wipe. But no, good question, real answer. If you've got something like content that's like really action oriented, or if you want it to be more exciting, you probably want to do the jump cuts. So if that's kind of the message that you're trying to convey with your video, maybe you're trying to make your brand seem more exciting, or you're got two angles of someone who's talking and they're really animated about something, you probably use the cut because people are going to see that, and it kind of makes your brain work harder to figure out what's happening next. So it just kind of keeps up the excitement. So definitely use the cuts for things that are supposed to be exciting. I guess for like worship or something that's maybe a little more in depth, or there's like a longer story, that's when you kind of want to start looking at things like the dissolve transition, or is it called dissolve?
Cross dissolve.
I should know more about. It's like cross dissolve is what it said, but that's like a dissolve. That's like the industry term is a dissolve, but. You want to do that for just kind of blending between two shots. I think like that is for like an award ceremony. Sometimes you could do that if you're going to be cutting to like a wider angle of something that's happening. Maybe you can turn that, use it there. But yeah, it's just kind of like, do you want more energy? Then use the cuts. If you're doing something that's fun, then yeah, use the twist and the cube. We don't generally use that one. I don't know. It's there though if you want to use it. It's kind of good to add some variety. You don't have to keep it on cube the whole time, but if you just kind of want to do something interesting and maybe you're gonna move on to another segment, then pull out the cube transition. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the
thoughts?
same boat where you just have your own style, figure out what you want to do, and go for it. And I like where you're saying worship and stuff, where you can do different things. I know WFBK, which is a local radio station here, they do a live broadcast with Switcher every Friday at noon. And sometimes when they switch angles, they'll do a cross dissolve, and it's like 3 or 4 seconds. But
Yeah.
it's for a live band, and if you're going like from a drummer to a singer, it kind of gets that cool effect. And
Yeah, mess with like a lot of people. I don't think realize that you can go into those effects. Just tap the little arrow next to them, and you can change some things about them. So like changing the duration, if you want a really long dissolve, like that can have an interesting effect. And while that video is playing, you can go back and fix it to 1 second if you want to. So,
yeah, you can just tap the restore default. Awesome, thank you for that. See some other people in. Saul says hi. Robbie saying hey. Tim I guess he jumped in a little late and was seeing live captions. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Live captions? Tim, that's something with YouTube with their new stuff. You go back and watch the beginning area, or there's a YouTube link in there in the comments that you can check out, and that's going to get you a little more information on that. But without further ado, Angelo, I'm going to let you talk about our user group and this other user group question, because you're the one who wrote the article about it. You're going to be our expert on it.
So, about the user group, we mention it every week, but we always see a huge amount of you guys joining after we mention this every week. So if you don't know or you haven't joined already, we do have an online community on Facebook with Switcher Studio enthusiasts. We just hit 2,000 members, so we're very excited. Great like 1 year mark to hit 2,000 members. But it's a very active group. There's people sharing content they've made, tips and tricks, asking questions. We're all in there, so it's a great place to be. You can either join it by searching Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. You can click on groups from our Facebook page and it'll take you there. Or if you're signed into your account at switcherstudio.com, you can click on join the community and that'll take you there as well. Any way that you get there, just fill out a short survey. It lets us know how you're using Switcher, and then we'll let you directly into the group. But what we like to do each week is to take one question that kind of stood out to us each week and bring it to your attention on Stream Squad. So we've mentioned quite a few times recently, more on, importing your graphics and how to import graphics that you want to use, whether it's full screen or logos or lower thirds, but we haven't really discussed how to make them yourself. There is the in-app editor where you can make, your own lower thirds and full screen graphics with our templates. But if you want to make something from scratch, we want to let you guys know how you can do that. So as Dan mentioned, I wrote an article on this, I want to say last October, November. We'll be sure to share that in the description. But, there's 3 main programs that we recommend for this. The first one is called Over. Now, it is an iOS-only app, so there's not a way to put it on a computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC. There's not a way to use it for Android. Essentially, if it's a device you're using for Switcher Studio, you can use Over. But it's a great tool. You're able to import your own fonts. If you want to download a font on your phone or iPad and import it in, you can use their pre-made categories. You can use layers just like you would be used to with Photoshop or GIMP on a computer. And you're able to export either, as a full screen graphic or as a transparent PNG file for your logos and lower thirds. So that's a great way, especially on the fly, if you have saved like your own pre-made template in Over and you've got a guest coming on your show, you can go into there, put in their name and their credentials, and then save it and import it in the Switcher Studio. If you are more computer-based and you're looking for something like Adobe Photoshop, but you don't want to pay that subscription or purchase an older model, there is another program called Pixlr. My first impression of Pixlr when I found it a few years ago is that it's just like Photoshop without as many menu options.
I've heard it called Photoshop Lite before.
Yeah, like if you have any experience with the Photoshop interface, you're fine.
And speaking of Photoshop, I think it's CS2. Photoshop CS2 you can download for free right now. Of course, it is an older model, and honestly, I don't think
that's pretty old.
Yeah, and I don't think
2001 or something.
Honestly, I think Pixlr can do everything that Adobe CS2 can do, so I would just use Pixlr.
Yeah, Pixlr is completely free. It is desktop based, so if you guys look, there is a Pixlr app, but it's only for really filters and stuff. It's nothing you would use for this.
It's in your browser, right?
Yeah,
so you don't need to download anything. You can just always access it wherever you are. So that's a really good feature to have.
And they have a free account, so that way you can save what you're doing and be able to hop computers. But again, it works just like Photoshop. You can create, the file size that you need. You can create either a full screen graphic or, a lower third or a logo with transparency. And that's something else that you're able to put in Switcher Studio. The last option that we wanted to discuss with you guys today is Canva. Now, Canva is something we use in the office. It's great, especially if you're wanting to share things with a team, because that way you can save everything centrally, including default fonts and colors and even designs. So it's great to share and use with everyone on the team. They also have some great individual options, such as pre-made, sizes for Twitter posts or YouTube thumbnails or anything like that. The only downside of Canva is that their free version does not allow you to export a PNG with transparency. So you can export a PNG file, which is larger and a little bit clearer than a JPEG, but it's not going to be transparent. You're going to have that white border if you put it in Switcher Studio. You do have to have one of their payment plan options for Canva to get that transparency, but Pixlr and Over again are completely free of charge.
I think Canva is really good if you're the type of person that says, oh, I don't do graphics. I mean, if you go into Canva, there's a lot of pre-made templates.
Yeah.
And they look good, and they're kind of stylized for today, and they're always putting new ones up. So it's a great option if you're trying to make like whole screen title cards that are going to fill the whole screen. Like if there's a sale or something that maybe you want to promote, or if there's like a guest that's going to be on your show, or like, I don't know, you want to just get an entire full screen message. Like they've got some templates that already look awesome, and it's just a great thing. But Pixlr is what I would use if I didn't, and I do have Photoshop. But if you are looking to make transparencies and stuff, Pixlr is great. You just have to remember that when you save it, there's a little checkbox that says preserve transparency or transparency.
Yeah.
And another tip on Pixlr that there's probably plenty more in the article. If you're going to make like a lower third, or if you're just going to make something that's going to go in the bottom of the screen, definitely think about making it larger than how it's going to be on the screen. Like make the image, make it 1920 by 1080. That's the size of a 16 by 9 frame that everybody's used to looking at. Or you can just do a 1080 by 1080 if it's a square or round image. But you want to start with something big. So start with the biggest thing, and then once you're in Switcher, you can always pinch and you can move it around to where you want. And the same thing with those lower thirds. Start with an entire frame size for your images, and when you start building it, you're going to have the highest quality graphic that you get to export for it.
Yeah, like if you do make an image at 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720, either one, when you import those in the Switcher Studio, they're automatically going to be laid out on the screen. So you don't have to worry about minimizing or maximizing unless you want to at that point. If you've created the image and put the lower third in the bottom corner, that's where it's going to be when it's imported. This also helps to make sure you don't get any of that pixelization. We have seen where someone's made a very small image, like a 400 by 400. They try to blow it up, and now their image is grainy. It's nothing that aired out in the import or with the app. It's just you're trying to enlarge that image. So definitely big as you can, make that image, and you can always shrink without a problem later.
And I think it's also good, you can use like actual photographs, but if you're trying to like get your messaging across, it's always going to be better to just have solid color text or just shapes. Like if you have a logo, the logo and just the shapes of the logo are always going to look better than trying to like bring in a photo and do that. I mean, you can do full screen photos, but you just have to remember, like if you right clicked and saved that from a web page and it's 200 by 200, it's not going to look any better if you just try to blow it up in your screen. You got to be careful about that kind of stuff.
If you're really only worried about having a full screen graphic with some text, I guess there's one other option that we haven't really discussed, and that's creating it inside of Switcher.
Yeah,
that's right.
In Switcher, you can kind of see over my shoulder here, I guess. If I come down here and tap the plus, I can come in here and choose titles and create a full screen image here. So I can do your text here. I can adjust all the colors and everything.
You can change the font in there too.
Yeah, you can change the font.
And it's like all the fonts that come with the iPhone. So
yeah, with the iPhone.
Stylize it to whatever you want it to look like.
So that's just another option as well. But some of those other ones are great as well. I know Canva, I like to call it like, it's almost like painting by numbers, where it's like you choose your template, you just enter your text that you want. Yep. You can move stuff around if you need to, and then export it, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Pixlr, again, is pretty much Photoshop Lite on a computer. And then Photoshop is very powerful, but also takes a little more knowledge to do, and is expensive.
There's tons of tutorial videos on Pixlr too. I mean, I first saw it like 3 or 4 years ago. It's been around for a while, but it was like, oh, this is a little different than Photoshop, but it's really simple to learn. If you just understand how layers work, and I always think like when you're working with layers, and it's just like you have different pieces of glass, and all you're doing is painting on top of the glass, and you're stacking them on top of each other. So as long as you don't fill the glass with something, you can always see through it, and that's ultimately what you're doing. If you're trying to think about what do I need to make for my PNG and what am I going to put for an overlay, just remember that you're just adding elements and stacking them up together.
Yeah, and in the article that we're gonna post in the comments for you
It's
guys,
in there for everybody.
Awesome. So in the article that's already in the comments for you guys, it does go over all three of these options in a little bit increased detail, and there is a link for each one in that article, and it'll send you to a longer article that's a full tutorial for making lower thirds with each individual piece. So with Over and Canva and Pixlr. So if there is one that you guys are interested in and you're not really sure how to start with that program, or you're new to graphic design to begin with and some of what we've said has kind of confused you a little bit, I'll actually in that guide walk you through step by step with text and pictures and show you how to create a lower third and how to get it into Switcher Studio.
Awesome.
Yeah, so again, seeing some more comments here. I see Zach just posted in here and says their media company loves the app. They're hosting Willie Nelson in concert from Florida this Saturday, and will be streaming using Switcher.
Send us some tickets.
Awesome.
Yeah, use hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. Love to see how that goes, and check it out, or post it in the user group if you're not there.
In the user group.
Yeah, definitely like to. Love seeing new video being created with Switcher, and that's something we always like to do every week is highlight one of those users. And Angela, I think we saw this one. This one actually came from the user group, and I think it's just a cool story, and I'll let you go ahead and talk about it.
Sure, yeah. As Dan mentioned, feel free to post videos you've made with Switcher in the user group or post them to Twitter, Instagram using the hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. We do love looking at all those videos, and we like to show one each week. So this one was one that was posted in the user group Saturday night. It's from a company called SK Signs and Designs, and what they did, there was a film festival from February 21st through 25th. It was called the Beaufort International Film Festival. They had all kinds of different applicants, and this was their award ceremony where they were, revealing who won, showing clips of each video, and showing some of the live content. So what SK Signs and Designs were able to do is to film the entire award ceremony, stream it, and allow everyone to see it. And one thing that really stood out to us, the footage was great, but there was, a director, a filmmaker, who got into their comments and mentioned one of his videos was being presented there, and he wasn't able to make it to the award ceremony. But thanks to their stream, he was able to actually watch the whole ceremony, watch how people received his footage. Yeah, and he won.
He didn't be there, but he won, and he's watched it with.
It's something where
stream.
Without the stream, he would have just been sitting at home, and someone would have had to just text him. But he was able to still experience that moment, even though he couldn't be present.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I actually have a photo here. Let me go to this.
Oh, the screen grab of it?
Yeah, so here's just a screen grab we have, and you can see there where he's like, I couldn't be there, but I'm happy this is being streamed. So it was really cool to see that, and those are the kind of things I like seeing with being done with Switcher. I know someone else posted in the user group a while back asking for advice on how to set up for a wedding shoot, and this is way back when we set up for a wedding running Switcher, and the bride's, I think it was her great aunt, who she had a really good relationship with, was too sick and wasn't able to make it to the actual wedding, but she was able to watch it online. Mm-hmm. She got dressed up in her Sunday best, just sat at the computer and watched her great niece get married. So it's just cool stories like that. I really like seeing.
Everybody's always like, oh, is there a video of that? And how many times has something happened? And it's like, no, we didn't do any video, but I mean.
Always be prepared, always go live, and definitely if you create anything with Switcher, let us know. We love seeing it. But also, if you want to keep up with the creator of this video, again, that's SK Signs and Designs. We'll post a link to the full broadcast in the comments. And also, if you are interested in entering, the Beaufort International Film Festival is an annual event, so you can definitely keep up with them as well, like both pages, and see what's going to be new with the film festival and with our creators.
Cool stuff. All right.
All right. I think that's all the time we've got for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can join that user group, and someone, if not one of us, is going to answer the questions there. And I guess one last thing I should mention here is if you are new, checking out the stream for maybe the first time, and you want to learn more, join that user group. And today, in about an hour, so at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Angela and I will be back on. We'll be doing a run-through of Switcher Studio, helping people set up their first live video. There's a little event, so you can tap on the event tab once you're in the group, and we'll get you in there, and you can watch along with us and kind of help set up. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a live demo, like we talked about earlier.
Demonstration video.
Yeah,
time.
we're going to do a demonstration video live with Switcher, and kind of walk you through how we set up this show here.
Yeah, start to finish, right? You're going to like delete all your assets and like bring them all back in, right?
Yeah, we're going to put them into another one. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, and if you guys, if you can't make it at the time of the webinar, or if you're watching this episode of Stream Squad after the fact and the time's already passed, we do have that archived in the user group. So still, if you're interested in Switcher or want to get some of those, pointers on how to get set up for your first stream, still join the user group. The event will still be present, and you guys will be able to watch the webinar in full.
All right.
Okay, everyone. That's it for now. Until next week, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.